Most people think that you need land to homestead, that it's impossible to homestead without land. To be honest, I thought that way for absolute years. And I was always like worried about talking about it. I didn't want people to laugh at me, as we all do. Homesteading has always been my dream. I'm proving that it's possible without a trust fund and without oodles of land. I live just outside of London and I have about 1/8 of an acre that I rent, and the rest of the stuff is just skill-based. And I'll show you how I spend the day homesteading without land. Now off to the allotment, where there's a ton of stuff that we can do without owning and even an inch of land. Every season's a bit of a learning curve, and I try to learn a new skill every single season. This season I'm really focusing on pruning. It's something that I've been doing over the last few years, but I don't feel massively confident in it. So if you have any tips or tricks, please let me know. This is one of my probably weakest parts of growing a year's worth of food, and that's fig trees. I did have 2 apple trees, managed to kill them. I did have 3 fig trees and managed to kill them. We have a lot of moles that dig underneath them and dig up all the roots and just absolutely destroy them. But what I need to do is a bit of pruning. I've not really done much pruning before, but it needs to be done, so I'm not an expert. What I'm gonna do is just cut off any that are crossing or any that are going in a really weird direction. So this one is crossing. I'm also really short, so I'm going to be cutting any that go a bit taller than I could reach. Good thing about the wood chip, it can go straight on the ground. I don't want to go too mad. I'm going to be a bit more cautious than anything. So this one is crossing. We want good airflow in the middle as well. Suggestions are really welcome. You don't want to cut too much away. I'm really hoping that we get a good fruit this year. If you're thinking, goodness, you just butchered that tree, let me know. You know, you can only Google as much as you can Google. And I'm very young when it comes to trees. I've only had them. This is like my 3rd or 4th year of having trees. One thing that needs pruning, but I actually never see anyone talking about, is perennial herbs. You're meant to prune them back so they're less woody. So let's see. This isn't really woody, but I've never done this before. So here I'm only gonna trim that back until I can see the soft growth growing. There is a lot of lovely growth here in the centre. There are also some really woody stems, which I'm gonna remove. Do you prune your perennial herb? Like I said, I saw this and I was like, I've never done that, but it does explain why they're so woody. Look, just solid wood. This is all soft. Herbs are probably one of the most important harvests that we do, because it means that we have loads of flavour in our food. There we go. I'm going to have a go at this one as well, but this one I'm not going to compost because it is absolutely so good for hair care, and I know Jasmine wants to make some hair oil out of it. Good thing is I can keep it in like a place I actually want it instead of it spreading everywhere. So what we're doing is encouraging the non-woody growth, which is better for us. Anything too woody, I'm not gonna go too crazy though, I say. I smell incredible now. I smell like a lamb. Another thing we need to do to make sure that we're growing a year's worth of food is planting out. And now it's March, it's time to plant. If you've been watching the channel, you know I am terrible at carrot. And I got all of these, right, in the sale. The whole bundle was 50p. I'm doing the plank method. This is where you go ahead and plant all your seeds and then you put planks over the top. Do you really keep in that moisture? And I'm hoping that will let them germinate. I have a terrible track record with carrots, but carrots are a really good storer, and I got just over 2 kilos last year, and hopefully this year I'm going to absolutely smash that. These seeds are so tiny. I have the best luck with carrots when I have horse manure down and I don't refresh it. I did this last fall. It's had all of winter to break down. It had cabbages in here, which we've harvested over the winter, and fingers crossed this will be a really good medium for carrots. It's really thin and light and fluffy, and I've raked it over really good. Hopefully it'll be a good environment for them. I do tend to sow quite heavily because I have a problem with germination. Probably the way I'm doing it. This way I'm doing it different. I do it different every year. Lightly cover them, and then I'll put the boards over the top. But you have to remember to take the boards up literally as soon as they germinate. What plants are you least successful at growing? For me, it's carrots. I bet some of you are thinking, I don't know what you're saying, Nick. I'm perfect at growing everything. Then tips are muchly appreciated. Let us know. This is one of my favourite ones that I'm going to be sowing now. It's something that I feel like most people take for granted, and that's the humble beetroot. I'm going to multi-sow these, so about 4 to a cell. But beetroots are a really important harvest for us because we eat a lot of pickled beetroots in the spring and winter. But there's something about springtime that just screams pickles for me. I don't know if you're the same. But say in the summer, I'm all about the fresh herbs and the fresh harvest. Not so much about pickles, but springtime, that's all I'm pretty much eating.
Every time I come down the allotment, I always make sure I check on the chickens.
I always check their water and their food and their ash bath. Chickens really don't need very much space. They make a massive impact for us growing and eating a year's worth of food. We have 3 chickens at the moment. We are going to expand that flock. We get new layers pretty much every year. Normally we raise them ourselves. Not only do we get fresh eggs, but we actually know where our food is coming from. That was like one of the main reasons we got into this way of life, because we really wanted to know that our animals are well treated, and these are some very spoilt hens, aren't you? It doesn't take very long to look after the birds at all. I was actually thinking about doing a whole entire dedicated video on chicken keeping and how we keep it super low maintenance. If you could have an animal, what would it be? For me, if I could have any animal right now, I'd absolutely love to have goats. But chickens are probably the easiest and best starting ones. Once we get up to our maximum capacity of eggs, we'll be getting something like 10 eggs a day. We can easily eat that. Never leave your eggs out so that the crows can get them. I learned that the hard way. Always put them away. I think it'll be time to plant these out in our next video. Look at how healthy they're looking. Whilst we're down here, I'm going to harvest some bits for dinner. This purple sprouting broccoli has been amazing. We're getting absolute tons of it. And this is why I know that some people say, oh, there's no point of having purple sprouting broccoli, it takes so long to grow. But genuinely, this time of year, it's a game changer. It really fills in that hungry gap. And you've just got absolutely nothing to harvest this time of year. This and eggs are like, honestly, a game changer. Definitely going to be making some broccoli and Stilton soup this weekend. Definitely going to have to sow some more of these this afternoon. I just saw these. I had to show you before we move on to harvesting some kales. This time of year, it's all about new life, isn't it? I'm excited. Peonies are absolutely stunning, but they only last a little while. If you like Brussels sprouts, you've definitely got to give kale a go. They are so pretty. Now they must be packed with all sorts of nutrients, because look at them, aren't they beautiful? Love the purple. And these also are a really good one for the hungry gap. Honestly, the best advice that I can give you for growing a year's worth of food is 1, always grow something for harvesting in spring. Always look for unusual harvests and get fresh chickens every couple of years.
Once I've finished all my jobs down the allotment, I clear up, get in the car and get home for lunch.
Hello. Okay, so it's time to go ahead and start lunch. I've already changed the nappy, I've made a coffee. I actually got this from a charity shop down the road. Best buy ever. It's so cute, isn't it? I think it was like 50p. I use it all the time. These are the tomatoes that we grew last year. Still using them. We should have enough till June. This is such a simple, easy recipe. Just a jar of roasted tomatoes or thyme. Then I just make a couple of indents in there. Bit of salt and pepper would be nice, but I don't put salt on his food. And I'm going to go ahead and roast it for 12 minutes. Also let that cook. Let's go and plant some seeds. Seed starting's the fundamental way that we grow so much stuff from scratch and grow a year's worth of food in such a small amount of space. Because my allotment garden is about 2 miles away from my house, it's not like I'm going to be able to pop there 1 to 2 times a day to water, to fertilise, etc. So it's really fundamental to get really good starts. So what we use is a seed tent, which I have behind me. The key to growing any seed is not to sow them too deep. If you sow too deep, they just won't come up. And what you want to do is, and this is the rule of thumb, you want to plant your seeds 3 times their size. So if they've got a big size, then obviously you go quite deep, and if they are tiny little ones, you can just sprinkle them along the top. Don't go any deeper, or they won't have the energy to push up through the soil.
Now back to the kitchen to finish off lunch.
It's really nice that even if we don't have a full-blown homestead, it's so nice that every single meal that we get to eat really reflects our beautiful, delicious food that we're growing. Whether it's just some winter berries that are frozen, some herbs, some eggs from our chickens, or our tomatoes, which is my favourite harvest. What's your favourite vegetable that you grow and how do you use it? Always looking for tips and tricks.
Menace.
Whilst we get tidied up from lunch, I'm going to send you over to me in the future, who's got a whole host of things that you could do at home, even without any land, to start your homesteading journey. So Andrew's gone down for his danger nap, and I thought I'd take this time to restock some of the bits. These are dishwasher tablets. Start off with a cup of baking soda. I get this from Costco's. I don't know how much it was, I think it was about £8. It lasts forever. Citric acid, I have a ton of this from canning because I never remember to pick up a lemon. I need a 1/4 cup of this and a tablespoon of Castiel soap, but you can use dish soap if that's what you've got. Why did I do that? It's going to be such a pain to mess up. Give this a stir-rooney. Then all you do is stick them in some ice cube trays to harden off. Push bottom ones, game changer.
Only fill these up halfway because they will expand.
And now you just leave them to dry and harden. Next I'm gonna make some washing powder, but this is made with actual normal ingredients, no like borax or grated soap bars. So this is incredibly cheap and incredibly easy to make. And this keeps my son's nappies clean. So if it keeps my son's nappy clean, you haven't got a problem with anything that goes in your wash. We're gonna start off with baking soda. Baking soda keeps like everything really nice and white and clean. It gets rid of all them horrible smells that you only really know about when you have kids. The next thing you need is washing soda. Now, washing soda was a bit of a bum to find, honestly. Now I know that it's just baking soda, stick it in the oven for an hour and you get washing soda. 1.5 cups of washing soda. You can grumble whilst you do it. Oh, I spent so much money on you and I could have made you. Oh well, you live and you learn. There we go. I like to crunch out all of the bits. Washing soda gets everything to dissolve and mix together correctly. Next is 1/2 cup of Epsom salt. I buy Epsom salt in bulk, but obviously if you don't have it, you can use sea salt. It's just Epsom salt, I think, works out a lot cheaper if you buy it in bulk. And that's it. You can put up to 20 drops of herbal extract in there, but if your child is less than a year old, try not to use extracts. They're a little bit too strong for them. I personally just prefer it plain, so I'm not going to do that. But if you are, a good one is lemon, because lemon will take out all stains. But witch hazel, calendula, rosemary is really good as an antiseptic, sort of kills all bacteria. So if you want to have something like that, that's great. Or just pick the one that you like the smell of the best. Danger nap over. Zero. So now Andrew's awake from his danger nap and he's playing very nicely. I'm going to make some baby nappy cream. Now obviously I'm not a doctor, so just bear that in mind. But what I'm going to use is calendula oil that I've made by drying some calendula and putting it in oil for 8 weeks. And I'm going to heat that up with 1/5 of the amount of oil to beeswax ratio. The oil is really soothing and gets rid of any rashes, and the beeswax makes it a little bit harder consistency. If you want a super hard balm, then you can add, say, up to 1/3 amount of beeswax in. I want this to be really soft, so I'm going for 1/5, and this has worked amazingly. We use no other nappy rash cream at all, but obviously do your own research. Now you really want to use a glass jar for this. You don't want to go put it in your pan, it will never come off. They tend to feel like they're taking forever and then suddenly be done. Just make sure you're keeping an eye on it, right? So you want to find yourself a clean jar, but you want one that you can like put your whole hand in and use because it's going to be cream, right? Wait for your vessel jars to cool down. It's already starting to set its cool completely, like I can hold it, it's not even hot. Beeswax melts about 60 degrees. You don't really need it much warmer than that. But as you can see, it's starting to set. We'll leave that for a couple of hours to cool right down. I'll show you that when it cools down, but whilst it's cooling, let's make dinner. We really like to use all the different types of harvest that we get in all of our meals, particularly in the winter when it feels like harvesting was like a million years ago. That's why we focus really heavily on having frozen food, because it's like a touch of summer in the depths of winter. Although it doesn't feel like winter today. This is a lemon garlic broccoli recipe that one of you sent me the other day, and I was super excited about trying it. So it's like a dressing that you just toss the broccoli in. So let's see how nice it is. I'll link the recipe down below. This video is brought to you by COSORI. Thank you so much, COSORI, for sponsoring this video. Our air fryer that we've got through COSORI is amazing. We genuinely use it every single day. It has a 6-litre capacity, so it's absolutely perfect for 4 to 6 people. We generally use it for most meals now, and it's much healthier than, say, deep fat frying. The COSORI air fryer reduces the amount of oil that we need to use by 95%, and we all know that we shouldn't be eating seed oil anyway. It has tons and tons of different features, etc. There's a massive discount sale on, and the link's down below, so go check it out. These have come out absolutely perfectly, and there's nothing more satisfying than that. Chicken's super hot.
Here's mine.
Yeah.
Thank you, let me just cook you.
That's okay. I'm gonna go feed the dog, okay? If you like videos like this, I've picked this one out for you. I hope you enjoy.